Ladies and gentlemen, we are live!
I'm Jerry.
I'm Kevin.
And I'm Tom.
It's time!
Live from the CSB studios in Westbury, New York.
It's the Tom and Jerry Sports Show.
Featuring co-host Kevin Dolan and the host that's been here since day one, Jerry Napoleonello.
On Zeno Radio and
on All Noise Radio.
Tom and Jerry Sports Show live on Zeno Radio, Cyberstation USA, All Noise Radio, Stitcher, and the Live 365 apps. I'm Jerry Knapp. He's Kevin Donlin. Thanks for deciding to spend your afternoon with us. We got a lot to talk about today. Winter meetings have ended, and boy, the Yankees and Mets were active. A player getting cut because of a fight over some Beats headphones. Issues in Philly continue, and what a wild rest of the season this is going to be. The number to call, 605-562-7085. Press 5 to be heard live. But first, let's start off with the Tom and Jerry Sports Show's 60-second summary.
That's right. Sunday Night Football, the Patriots flew to Houston to face off against the Houston Texans earlier in the week. J.J. Watt broke his hand, but yet still made his way into the game, but wasn't enough as Tom Brady and the Patriots steamrolled them with a 27-6 victory as New England clinches a playoff berth in the process.
A slot receiver, and it's Watt making the catch for the touchdown.
Earlier in the week, Thursday Night Football had a very interesting matchup as the Arizona Cardinals welcomed the Minnesota Vikings into their home, but that's the only nice thing they did. Arizona continues to show they might just be the most complete team in the NFL this season as they win this one 23-20 and move to 11-2.
Can't take a sack either. The ball comes out. Was it a pass or a fumble? Ruling on the field is a fumble and a recovery by Campbell.
Conor McGregor is the new featherweight champion after a deciding win over Jose Aldo.
Conor relaxed and smiling. Oh! He slipped it! Is the new UFC featherweight champion of the world! Oh, unbelievable!
Jets had the Titans come into town, and most thought this could have been one of those same old Jets kind of a moment, but it wasn't like that as Ryan Fitzpatrick and his Magic took care of business 30-6 and moved the Jets to 8-5. Yankees trade Adam Warren and Brendan Ryan to the Cubs for Starlin Castro, and then trade relief pitcher Justin Wilson to the Tigers and return to get two pitching prospects. The Mets solidify their middle infield with the acquisition of Neil Walker from the Pirates and free agent acquisition of Asdrubal Cabrera, likely marking the end to Daniel Murphy's career as a Met. Islanders continue their hot streak with a 4-0 win over the Devils as they are 8-0-2 in their last 10 games. The Rangers, on the other hand, have been definitely struggling with a record of 2-6-2 in their last 10 games. The Knicks are on the same boat as the Rangers as they hit a bit of a speed bump with 7 losses out of their last 10 games. Giants face off in Miami against the Dolphins tonight on Monday Night Football on ESPN at 8 p.m. And I'm Kevin Don with your Tom and Jerry Sports Show 60-second summary brought to you by Overtime. The game never ends.
We'll get right into Thursday Night Football. I mean, this game going into it, this looked like an interesting.
This was an interesting call at the end of the game. That's what it comes down to.
Well, yeah, getting to that, I mean.
Zimmer's a defensive coordinator. I mean, he is a defensive-minded coach, and you basically didn't trust your own defense. Yeah. I don't care how many people are missing. It doesn't matter. Ex-New England, how many people were missing from their defense last night?
Well, the big thing is with your quarterback.
You're in field goal range. I don't care if you want to take a shot at the end zone. I understand that, but you know what? Have some sort of awareness.
Also, a veteran's got to know. Like a quarterback's got to know that. A veteran would definitely know that.
No, they went right past the offensive line. He had no time.
I'm just saying.
He legitimately had no time. This is a mistake on the coach. You do not call this play.
No, I know. I agree with you. Blair Walsh has been a little shaky a little bit. That was going to be about a 54-yarder, I think it was.
You didn't even have a chance to tie it.
That's
the brutal part about
that.
it. You had no chance to tie this game. This is a team that needed this win big time. This was a big game for the Minnesota Vikings.
Doubt.
You knew I'm going to be honest. You knew Green Bay was going to win that game. Let's be honest. I mean, you knew that Green Bay was going to have an easy time this week. They were going to get a win.
Yeah.
Or somehow they were going to get a win.
Yeah.
And you need to stay with them. Because
Minnesota,
you're going to play.
It's coming down. Like Minnesota,
they play each other last week of the season. That's what it comes down to. You got to stick with them, and you're not sticking with them now. Now you got Green Bay with the slight lead over them, and now that game that last week of the season, it's going to be you're talking about more of like, this is going to.
Yeah.
That's for the playoff spot now, basically, at this point, or in the division at the same time. Remember, you're listening with Kevin and Jerry. Please call in. It's 605-562-7085. Press 5 to be heard live. We are taking calls right now.
We're going to get into the winter meetings now. That was the big news, over this past week. Yankees and Mets were active. A lot of people have been saying that the Yankees weren't going to go after anybody. Nothing was going to happen. All the big pitchers were out.
They didn't go after anybody. And this might be my opinion, but it's going out and grabbing, someone of the likes of, Starling Castro. This isn't like a big-time name right now. I mean, Starling Castro's a decent player.
It's better and it's better than any second baseman that we've had. And I've always liked Starling Castro.
Where are you putting him?
The big.
Where are you batting him? That's the question right now.
I'm not even worried about batting him. I'm worried about playing defense. We have nobody in. I feel
like the only thing we had were defensive-minded second basemen all year. You don't think so?
I'm probably looking at him, probably around 7, 8, or 9.
The Yankees are in trouble.
They're not in trouble. They're not in trouble.
They're in trouble.
I like
I'm
the
a Yankee
move.
fan, and I'm telling you they're in trouble.
I like the move. The Justin Wilson obviously was a head scratcher for a lot of people.
Well, I hope Sabathia retires. That's basically what it comes down. I don't even want to go into Justin Wilson and stuff right now with these new, the names that are coming and going right now. There's trouble inside the locker right now.
Well, you know what the thing is. With the Justin Wilson deal, everybody's been questioning it. Why do that for 2 prospects? Justin Wilson was one of your better.
So we need to get younger.
The thing with Justin Wilson is he started to fall apart towards the end of the season. He wasn't the same pitcher that he was in the beginning of the season. And you know what? I have a feeling that the Yankees have something up their sleeve. I really do. I feel like they may be using maybe one of these prospects to use in a trade. I don't know, but I do feel like Brian Cashman has something up his sleeve.
I'll tell you, the Magic better come out very soon because right now the Yankees going into this season are in a little bit of trouble.
Well, I have a feeling that there will be a starting pitcher coming towards the Yankees soon. I don't know who it's going to be.
Which one? I mean, I would have taken Shelby Miller. You would have gotten decent money out of this guy, and this guy played a great year last year.
The one guy that was out there that I thought that I would have liked to get was...
If you say Greinke, I'm going to laugh in your face.
No. Jeff Samardzija.
Okay. He struggled last year, though, didn't he? Mightily.
He struggled, but the year before that, he had a solid season. I think having him... as a number 3, maybe a number 4, I think would be really good. You'll have Tanaka number 1. You'll have, Pineda number 2, maybe Eovaldi number 3, and then either Samardzija and CeCe flip-flopping 4 and 5. I think that would be set for the Yankees. I think you don't have to really worry about their offense, really. I mean, maybe it would be nice to maybe.
They're going to have to find a way to stop the offense.
But I have a feeling that
Toronto Blue Jays Maple Leafs.
I have a feeling that that Brett Gardner will be gone soon. I don't know who he's going to be traded for, but I think that's
going to be
get in the
mix with Teixeira too, and go out and get something else.
You know what? With Teixeira, you have I think 1 or 2 more years left on his contract.
I thought you were going to say 2 more weeks of him being healthy, because that's exactly what we get out of him every year.
But you have Greg Bird, you have guys like this.
This
Judge,
guy needs to be in the lineup every day.
Oh, I know.
Greg Bird needs to be in the lineup every day. That's what it comes down to.
Mets, on the other hand, they were in the mix for Zobrist. Zobrist took less money to go to the Cubs. And obviously the whole Castro...
This isn't the biggest loss in the world.
No, it's not. And the Castro deal with the Yankees obviously opened it up for this trade, for this signing for the Cubs with Zobrist. Zobrist, I think, got way too much money. I don't think he's that good. I think he's a good player. I don't think he's that good to get that kind of paycheck. And with his age, I mean, he's 35 years old. I mean, how much longer? I think the reason why the Mets wanted to get him was because he was older. You'd only have 1 or 2 more years with him, three years at most, and then they'll have Dilson Herrera that they're hoping that will come up and play well for them and take over that second base for the Mets in the future. I think they're looking at maybe 1 more year or so, because the Neil Walker deal is a 1-year deal. He's going to be a free agent after this year.
This is more along the lines of they're going away from Daniel Murphy.
That's the thing. That was one of the things that I took from it, was that they just really do not like Daniel Murphy on their team. They're trying every which way to get rid of him and have somebody replace him.
Well, it was
and,
smart what they did. They went out and tried to give him an offer sheet. Obviously, he's going to decline it. No players ever really accept these offer sheets. But now what happens is he goes and signs with a new team. That new team has to give up a draft pick to the New York Mets. And this is what the Mets have been doing.
It's a first-round pick, too.
That's what I'm saying. Because of what he was able to do, the value.
I mean,
because of the money he'll be getting paid.
Oh, I know.
And I don't know who's going to pay him this money, but it certainly ain't going to be the New York Yankees. The Yankees pointed that out right away.
It has to be an AL team. It has to be.
Yeah.
Because where do you want to play this guy? He's terrible in the field. I mean, and I think that's one of the reasons that the Mets wanted to get rid of him.
He's a 300 hitter, but he's not a powerhouse. Okay, he hit a lot of home runs in the playoffs. That's great.
You're never going to see that again.
That was incredible. No, but it was incredible. It was a great story for every Met fan.
It's just you're never going to see that.
The Mets as an organization in general. It was a great ride for the Mets. I don't think this ride ends anytime soon. I think the New York Mets continue to perform. I think Washington's on the down because you couldn't have gotten a better year.
Yeah, but you know what? The Cubs make that deal for Jason Hayward, which I think is absolutely ridiculous. I think he's getting like 184, 185.
No, but I think the Cubs went the wrong direction here. I think they needed to go out and get themselves some starters.
Well, yeah,
and some
but
pitching. Increasing that batting lineup.
I
mean, you see that the hitting can slump in Major League Baseball. I've said it since day one.
And
you can have the best hitting team in the world.
Who knows what Arrieta you're going to get?
Yeah.
Arrieta was a total different guy in the first part of the season compared to the second half of the season. So
I'll be honest. I think
you're
going to see the second half of Arrieta. I think Arrieta finally put it all together. He is a great number one. There's no doubt about it. Is he going to have those kind of numbers he had towards the end of last year? Probably not.
Yeah.
But he'll be an effective player all year long.
Yeah.
But besides him, I can't name another starter for you. And I mean, someone like Lackey, these are guys that this team could have went out and gotten that they haven't been able to, you know what I mean? They haven't been able to make any moves right now. Yeah. And it's a big hit for this team. They need to go out and they need to make a pitching move if they want to be considered serious because the Mets could shut down that lineup. They really will be able to, no problem.
We want to hear your thoughts on all these, NFL, baseball, whatever you need. Remember to join the conversation on Twitter at TNJ Sports or at our website, tnjsports.weebly.com. We're going to get into the Giants-Dolphins game real quick. This game is a big game for the Giants. It's a huge game. Being that the Redskins won, the Eagles won, this is a big game, and it's starting to look like the Giants are going to have to win out.
I think the Giants are going to win this game.
I think they're going to win this game.
I think they're going to win.
But they have to win out. It's going to come down to them having to win out.
It's going to be tough. I mean, I'll be honest with you. This team's looking at Minnesota still in the future.
They're still looking at Carolina.
Carolina and Minnesota coming out in the next couple of weeks for the New York Giants. It makes this game 10 times more important. Because right now, like you said, maybe they might not have to win out at this rate.
They might not have to, but the way that it's going with
the
Redskins and the Eagles winning.
This could be the first time you'll ever see a 6-10 team make the playoffs. And that sounds crazy, but it could happen.
It's
still in the making, and it's still a possibility at it.
Absolutely, it's
but
a possibility.
I mean, this division, right now is in the utter mess right now. 7-9 is definitely going to get you the playoffs.
Yeah,
7-9 might definitely get you in the playoffs right now. And so for the Giants, it's right now you need to win 2 of your next 4 games.
Yeah,
I mean, don't get me wrong, you're going to have to beat Carolina or Minnesota. You're going to have to win one of those two if you legitimately want to lock it up.
Yeah.
But for the Giants right now, this game against Miami, very important. Beautiful weather tonight in Miami. Should be clear weather for Eli Manning to go to work.
A lot of Giant fans are going to be there.
Well, they're going to have to do it. Eli Manning's going to have to pull out the magic because right now he's all they got. And right now Eli Manning's going to have to be the man if they want to find a playoff spot this year.
Absolutely.
In this day and age, social media has become such a pivotal part of people's lives. Well, now there's an app called Overtime that brings sports and social media together.
It allows you to post photos as well as video of all sports-related news and highlights. It gives you the access to debate all sports topics with other sports fanatics, as well as giving you a platform to break sporting news yourself.
Go to the iTunes App Store to download Overtime, an app for sports lovers made by sports lovers.
Yeah, and we're going to take a break. LaShawn McCoy has had a chip on his shoulder ever since being traded in the offseason by Chip Kelly and the Eagles. He got to use it this week as Buffalo faced off in Philly in Week 14. We'll recap this game next on the Tom and Jerry Sports Show.
Merry Christmas, happy holiday. Merry Christmas, Merry Christmas, Merry Christmas.
Do you have sports opinions? Or do you want to start your own sports debate? Then Overtime is right for you. Overtime is an app for sports lovers made by sports lovers. This is the best place to talk about sports. Overtime is available at the iTunes App Store. Be a part of something big and help us take the game to OT. Overtime. The game never ends. Follow the NFL this season on the Tom and Jerry Sports Show.
Cameo Entertainment Group and Cyberstation USA are now part of Stitcher, a free radio app for your smartphone. With Stitcher, you can listen to live programming as well as archived radio programming right on your phone. To obtain Stitcher, just go to the App Store for your particular phone. Go to search, then type in Stitcher. That's Stitcher, S-T-I-T-C-H-E-R. S-T-I-T-C-H-E-R. Then download. It's that simple. Stitcher, a free radio app for your smartphone. Convenient access to live and archived Cyberstation USA programming on your mobile phone. That's Stitcher, S-T-I-T-C-H-E-R. Cyberstation USA, always on the go.
Tom and Jerry Sports Show featuring Kevin Donlin live every Tuesday on Zeno Radio and re-airs Wednesdays and Fridays at 5 p.m. Eastern on All Noise Radio and the Live 365 app.
Follow us on Instagram at Tom and Jerry Sports Show and join the conversation on Twitter at TNJ Sports or visit our website at tnjsports.weebly.com or call in to 605-562-7085. Press 5 to be heard live. We are back, and a recap of Week 14 is in order, and starting with the Bills and Eagles.
Yeah, this was a big game, like we were just talking about with the Giants and the Redskins. This is a big game for the Eagles.
It was a big game for the Bills too,
and it was a big game for the Bills. Obviously. Mainly for LaShawn McCoy as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
There was a lot of stuff going on this week. I mean, supposedly,
even post game too. I mean, you're looking at Rex Ryan after the game saying the Bills were a better team. Okay, well, the Bills were a better team, but you lost.
Yeah,
you lost the game. So you're basically saying, okay, I had a better team, but I still couldn't get a win for my team. I mean, I'm not a Rex Ryan hater. I was one of the biggest fans of Rex Ryan when he was with the New York Jets. Yeah. But this guy, when it comes to the offensive side of the football, has no idea what he's doing.
Yeah.
And I mean, as a Jet fan now, watching this Jet offense the way it is right now, it's such a difference.
Yeah, it is.
I mean, this guy just really doesn't know anything about the offensive side of the ball.
But you know what? I'm not really gonna put it all on Rex Ryan though, because he had Geno Smith, he had Mark Sanchez. Mm-hmm. You know, Fitzpatrick's been one of the best, if not the best, quarterback for the Jets. I mean, if you want to say Pennington, but. I mean, this is the first time.
I told you this in the beginning of the season. I mean, I don't really want to go too much. We got the Jets we're going to get into a little bit more later on. But, you know, I told you, Ryan Fitzpatrick was going to be, with those kind of targets, going to be performing perfectly with Chan Gailey as the offensive coordinator. But
it wasn't just, in this game, it wasn't just LaShawn McCoy with the issues. Philly's been having their issues way past LaShawn McCoy and all this racist, getting rid of all the black players and all that stuff. But this was big because before this game, they made their big free agency acquisition of DeMarco Murray, the number 4 running back in this game.
Well, that's because he went out behind the coach's back. I mean, this causes a whole controversy, and the fact that it got into the media. And when it gets into the media, it's a big problem.
You know what? The thing is, this was not a good play for anybody. This was not a good play for the Eagles because he doesn't
play for the Bills. Bills lost a big-time defensive player that they could probably use right now because
it does. DeMarco Murray does not fit this system. But do you know who does fit this system perfectly? LaShawn McCoy. And I've been saying this since the offseason when it first happened. This was a dumb play for the Eagles. This was a dumb play for DeMarco Murray. I don't know how you not see this. You know, DeMarco Murray was just going for the money here. I'm hearing reports that he's trying to get...
It did work, though. The Eagles put this guy as the number 4 in the depth chart to get the win.
Well, and I can guarantee you don't know the number 3 running back that they had before him.
Well, absolutely not.
Barner.
Wow. It's crazy. I
You
mean,
know, the
right
one
now,
that he
what Chip
fumbled
Kelly's
against-
doing, he's throwing curveballs left and right. You know what? They get a win. He gets the spotlight off him for just a week at a
Yeah.
time. But you know what? Next week, they get a loss again. All of a sudden, it's right back on him.
Yeah.
In big trouble for Chip Kelly. But moving on, we go to the Jets, taking on the Tennessee Titans. And honestly, a huge game for the Jets.
This was one of those, I've been listening to the radio, all week, and, every Jet fan calling in saying, that this is a typical Jets game.
Where they should get the win, and they won't do it.
Exactly.
Yep.
But they stepped up. They showed that they're not the same old Jets. And they came out with an
Ryan
impressive
Fitzpatrick,
victory.
once again, another 3-game stretch without an interception. This is like the second time this season that he's gone 3+ games and over 100 pass attempts without an interception. Very great performance from Ryan Fitzpatrick. Nothing to give away from his outside threats. Jets, for the first time, having 2 different receivers with 9 or more touchdowns. I think it's the first time ever. I mean, it's the first time since I started watching, and probably ever, honestly, for the New York Jets.
Probably the best tandem that they've had
And the first
since
1,000-yard receiver with Brandon Marshall since Santana Moss in 2005.
Yeah.
Talking 7 years ago, 8 years ago. I mean, the Jets are a lot better this year. They've been playing very, very well on both sides of the football. They have some very, very disappointing losses, one being to Houston, another one being to the Eagles. These are games that should have been won by the New York Jets. They found ways to lose. They're making it very difficult on themselves, but you have a Dallas team this week that you need to get a win on Saturday night, Thursday night edition on Saturday night. You know that, right?
Yes.
Saturday night for the New York Jets. Then obviously you got the New England Patriots, and you got the Buffalo Bills.
It's
two division opponents.
Listen, the way
One's
that
in Buffalo too.
the
That's
way
gonna be a
that
tough one.
Kansas City's playing, the way that Pittsburgh is playing, I mean,
You got to win.
For
Got to keep winning every game.
For the Jets, I mean, it might be the best thing that's happened for them that Andy Dalton broke his thumb and might be out for the season, because now Pittsburgh might be going for the division. So this is going to be a tough stretch for the Jets, because you know what? They can afford to lose to the Cowboys because it's a non-conference team, but the way that everything's planning out to be, they might have to win out as well. This might have to be a Giants and a Jets winning out situation for both teams. They might just have to win out, because Kansas City has a joke of the rest of the season. And the Steelers...
Well, I wouldn't just say that. I mean, they play the Raiders.
They got a joke.
Well, the Raiders are not an easy team these days, man.
That's a joke of a season for the Kansas City Chiefs. And Steelers, I mean, Steelers do have Denver, but what Denver are you going to see?
Well, right now, the way Osweiler played that the other day, I mean, Peyton Manning, as soon as this guy gets healthy, he's back in the game.
Yeah.
There's been talks about whether or not Osweiler is going to be the starter remaining the rest of the season.
I think
I've laughed it
that
off
out.
since day one.
Yeah.
I continue to laugh it off. And Osweiler, great performance as a backup. Ask any Dallas Cowboy fan, including this man over here, how important Osweiler is to this Denver team right now and what he's doing for them.
Oh,
but
100%.
at the same time, you got to get your man in there when he's back to healthy.
Yeah, you're speaking with Jerry and Kevin. We are taking calls 605-562-7085. Press 5 to be heard live. Tom and Jerry Sports Show now has its very own app. If you have an Android phone, be sure to download that through the Google Play Store. We're going to move on to, obviously, what I just said. Andy Dalton and the Bengals have had the Steelers come in to Cincy this week in a big game, and obviously you saw how big the game is in the pregame warm-ups as Vontaze Burfict and a few other guys, including James Harrison, got into it in the middle of the field. These two teams hate each other.
Well, Vontaze Burfict is the one that hurt Le'Veon Bell.
Yes.
Yeah.
So this was a big game for both teams, and right in the first quarter, a terrible interception by Andy Dalton. He went to make the tackle, ended up fracturing his thumb. Was getting it looked at. And actually, right now, as we're looking at the screen right now, developing story, Andy Dalton will not need surgery.
Andy Dalton, they said, was going to be season-ending, though, right?
If it needed surgery, but now it's not needing surgery, so he may make it back for the playoffs, maybe. But we'll see. But this game, Steelers took care of business after that happened, because then Tyler Eifert ended up getting hurt.
It's just been brutal for them.
So Steelers win this game 33-20. Chargers, Chiefs. Chiefs come out, continuing to to win. Really, I mean, this team. I think what is it, 10 in a row?
I mean, I'll be honest. The Chiefs have been playing very good, but this is a San Diego defense that has been annihilated the past couple of weeks, and they only get 10 points, and they nearly came back and tied this game. The Chargers.
Yeah, I know.
They nearly did. And I mean, honestly, aside from
that throw to Danny Woodhead with no time left in the corner of the end zone.
Well, there was a bunch of them towards the end too. Even I think Gates had dropped one as well. I mean, Phillip Rivers, you're going 4 quarters. I mean, you're honestly going 8 quarters now without a touchdown. San Diego's has its own big troubles right now, and the Chiefs squeak one by, a very big important win for the Chiefs. They continue to keep pace with the rest of the AFC.
Now they have the chance to win the division.
Crazy.
Redskins Bears, another big game, another big field goal miss by Robbie Gould. Another one.
Very, very dependent. Robbie Gould gets another miss and another close game loss by the Chicago Bears, who have it's just been the way of life for the Chicago Bear fan right now. They continue to lose games by 1 point. I mean, by one score. The Bears obviously out of it at this point with Minnesota and Green Bay in contention in that division. Just very upsetting. Jay Cutler, just having a hard time this year. The whole team as a general. That defense, like we said in the beginning of the year, was going to be very, very difficult. Remember to join the conversation on Twitter at TNJ Sports or at our website at tnjsports.weebly.com. Be sure to download the new sports app, Overtime, at the iTunes App Store. You're speaking with Jerry and Kevin.
Falcons and Panthers. Falcons are terrible. They are terrible. We said it last week.
And the Panthers are good.
The Panthers
They're
are very
a good team.
good. They are very good. Very good.
Who needs Benjamin, right?
Yeah.
Crazy, bro.
Now the question is, will they go undefeated? The big game that I'm going with right now that scares me for the Panthers to not go undefeated.
And what is that?
Is the Giant game.
Oh, I thought you were going to say Cowboys.
No, we already got smacked by them.
That's true. Thanks,
but
he goes, oh man, I'm sorry. I'm so mean.
I have to go with the Giants. I mean, that's what scares me because it goes along with what we said with the Giants. They play up to their competition. They play down to their competition.
Absolutely.
And tonight could be a game that they play down to their competition.
And then all of a sudden they come into Carolina. They could possibly lose tonight, and then all of a sudden go into Carolina and win the game. That's how unpredictable the New York Giants have been. But a big game for the Giants this week. They need to win just as. I mean, they need to win more importantly than the Panthers. Panthers clinched the playoff spot week 12, which is just unheard of.
Yeah.
Especially when there was another team in your division that was 5-0 or 6-0 to start the season, which is quite incredible. I mean, the Falcons. Let's be honest, they haven't won a game, and I can't remember the last time they won a game.
Yeah, I know.
It's been a while. They've lost 7 in a row. That's crazy. That is crazy. Can we stay on that for a second? That is not. How is there a team like the Kansas City Chiefs that were 1-5, going for their division lead? You had another team that was 6-0 that can't even get over 500 right now by week 13.
Yeah,
this is just an incredible NFL season. Just shows how tight the entire season's been.
I think I saw a stat that there's 21 or 22 NFL teams that have losing records. That's insane. But
that's what happens when you got a couple of teams that are 11-2, a couple of teams that a team that's 13-0, a team that's 10-2. A lot of teams with multiple digit.
There's been a big discussion, in the NFL. Obviously, it's the concussion discussion. I just rhymed.
That was good, impressive.
But the thing is, it's coming back up because the movie's coming out. Christmas Day, I think.
This is just my opinion here. I'm going to go with my own opinion now.
But again, like last night during the game for the Cowboys, Rolando McClain got hit.
This is not a good movie for the NFL.
No, it's not. Got hit in the head, ended up coming back in.
This movie's going to be detrimental.
And then after the game, went for concussion protocol.
There's going to be such a big problem with the NFL.
It really is.
And it comes all the way down. This might come down to the point where the NFL, or not the NFL, what was it? The sport of football might be a sport that there might have to be an age limit for this. You cannot have 5-year-old kids playing this sport.
Well, you know what I looked at though. A lot of people are saying that they're not going to let their kid play football. I believe in giving them the choice.
You do. You absolutely give them the choice. And as a kid, I mean, do you want to get smoked by some of these kids that are coming out? And these kids are huge. Some of these kids are unbelievably big.
Oh, I know.
It's crazy. And what happens is, it's your own decision. Do you want to be hit for the rest of your life? It's that simple.
Yeah.
That's how the NFL works. That's how football works. But there needs to be a limit on the age. I mean, you cannot have these kids playing at the age of 4 or 3.
One of the
these
things
kids aren't fully, your body isn't fully developed until you're about 17, 18 years old. And I mean, even then you're not even fully developed
They said that,
Bones,
you probably
everything.
shouldn't let your kid play football until probably the age of 13.
Yeah.
But when you get to these kind of sports, 13, you're too late. You're too late. In every sport, you're too late. You're too late.
Hey, listen, there's nothing wrong with playing catch with your father and learning the games, like learning the game with your father or something like that.
That's what I believe in. I believe in, you know what, if they want to play, Little League or whatever, go right ahead and play Little League.
I think it should be different with football, man.
But you know what? I think, if they don't want to play, but they do like football, if they don't want to play Little League or you don't want to let your kid play Little League, you have to work on fundamentals because you know what? They're not going to have that in-game type of, knowledge. Mm-hmm. And when you're...
But you watch the game, you learn it that way. And then all of a sudden, if you realize that... because honestly...
Listen,
you're not fully developed.
I just believe
it's not safe for you at
I
all.
believe in giving your kid the chance...
Absolutely.
To decide what he wants to do.
But
if he wants to play...
But when they're 5 years old... That's ridiculous. You know what? I'm sorry. That's just me. And honestly, when this movie comes out, you're going to see. You're going to see it's a huge backlash on it.
But 5 years old, how hard are you going to get hit?
How hard? Know. You never know.
Come on. But, I mean, that's just how I feel. See what
this movie does to people?
Oh, yeah, I know. Week 15 coming up. A lot of games with playoff implications. Some hockey talk, and can't forget Fantasy 14 coming up later on. Big news for you New York DraftKings and FanDuel players next.
I'm telling you why. Santa Claus is coming to town.
Tom and Jerry Sports Show featuring Kevin Donlin live every Tuesday on Zeno Radio and re-airs Wednesdays and Fridays at 5 p.m. Eastern on All Noise Radio and the Live 365 app.
Follow us on Instagram at Tom and Jerry Sports Show and join the conversation on Twitter at TNJ Sports or visit our website at tnjsports.weebly.com or call in to 605-562-7085. Press 5 to be heard live. Follow the NFL this season on the Tom and Jerry Sports Show.
This is the evolution of radio.
Cyberstation USA.
Our inventions change us. They make us think differently.
Something new added to the real world.
The leading edge of evolution.
That development has got to be delivered.
CyberstationUSA.com.
The most sophisticated that I've ever seen.
I'm not sure exactly what the future is, but I'm pretty sure it's not going away.
Do you have sports opinions? Or do you want to start your own sports debate? Then Overtime is right for you. Overtime is an app for sports lovers made by sports lovers. This is the best place to talk about sports. Overtime is available at the iTunes App Store. Be a part of something big and help us take the game to OT. Overtime. The game never ends.
All I want for Christmas is you.
The Tom and Jerry Sports Show picks and predictions for Week 15. We are back, and we're going to continue before our picks and predictions with the recap
of last week. Saints and Buccaneers. Buccaneers, they were really sitting on the edge here.
They're looking like they'll be a middle of the pack kind of a team for next year.
Yeah, I mean,
which is a disappointing season. You don't want to be a draft pick of 14.
You know what? Jameis Winston really does look good, though. He's really stepping up for this team. He's becoming a real leader.
Better. I'm surprised this defense isn't better with the guys they have on it. Gerald McCoy and they have that linebacker too. What's his name?
They have Devontae David.
That's who I'm thinking about, Levante David, and he's very, very good too. I mean, they have a very good cornerstone of players on the defensive side. That secondary needs to get better, and that'll be a point of emphasis coming the draft. But moving on, Cowboys played a close one against the Pack. against the Packers.
It's so messed up.
I know. I'm sorry. I'm mean.
So messed up.
I'm sorry, but you know what?
It's already
it was brutal.
It's bad enough that I gotta watch this game. It's bad enough I gotta watch this game and have them, give me the
come on, Castle.
The hope, being down 7 in the third quarter. I'm like, all right, you know what? We're putting pressure on Aaron Rodgers. We're playing good defense. But we stopped them like 3 or 4 times in a row, and we just could not get anything going. Castle's arm is terrible.
Yeah, he's terrible.
I never thought, I never knew how bad his arm was.
At one point, I remember I turned it on because I had the red zone on, and they were throwing a lot of the Denver game out there, and
those are the only 2 games on at 4:00.
They were throwing a lot of the Denver, because it was a closer game.
Yeah,
for the most part. But when the few times they showed it, I saw Castle threw a deep ball. I remember, and he threw it to Terrence Williams. It came nowhere close. I literally watched that play, and went click. I clicked it off. I turned it off because it was on 5. It was on Channel 5 that game. And
after giving up, I think
it was brutal.
When it turned to 21, I started watching a little bit more, and then it got to 28, and I was like, you know what, click.
See ya.
I went to the Islander game, and that's who
there we go.
We're gonna get back into the Islanders and Rangers when after this recap. But 28-7, Cowboys lose. Patriots Texans Sunday Night Football.
We went into this already. The
yeah.
Patriots win a deciding game over the Texans. Obviously, Brian Hoyer got hurt late in this game. I don't think it made a difference. Brian Hoyer wasn't getting anything done. And then the Patriots just continued to lose guys on defense, and they continue to play.
Their defense looks good.
Yeah, that number 1 corner they have is very, very good. He played very well. And honestly, what they do is they try to put the number 1 corner on the number 2 receiver, and then they'll put their number 2 corner on the number 1 receiver of the opposing team, but they'll give him safety help. The entire game, they'll give him safety help.
Yep.
So very hard to get DeAndre Hopkins in order. Obviously, Bill Belichick, you know what he does to the best players, and you didn't hear J.J. Watt's name or DeAndre Hopkins the entire game.
J.J. Watt did break his hand, though.
Excellent performance. And the Patriots go on to win this game 27-6. We're going to rattle off the rest of the scores of these games on account that they were blowouts. Yeah. Blowouts that we saw coming a mile away.
Anything.
Well, that at the same time. Well, Seattle, big game for Seattle. They need to get wins continuously to stay in the NFC race.
But they played
38-6 over the Ravens. I think the Ravens continue to play great football. I'm kidding.
Ravens just actually signed Ryan Mallett.
Okay. I missed that story. I guess it went right over my... 49ers take on the Browns. This one was a game that I had to keep watching. I had a lot of I'm kidding. I had nobody on my fantasy team on either one of these teams except for Barnage. Barnage, a touchdown usual. That guy is unbelievable for the Browns. 24-10,
he just
Browns
signed a
win.
contract, didn't he?
Yes, he did.
I think he just signed an extension.
Oh, yeah, last week, right?
Yep.
Yeah, absolutely. And well-deserved. He played very well all year for this team. Lions and the Rams. This game started to get a little close towards the end, but again, very boring. 21-14. Stafford looked like crap. So did...
as he has all season.
Yeah, he's really been bad. He just has these games where you just don't know where he goes. I mean, even against Green Bay, he scores 2 touchdowns first 5 minutes of the game, disappears the rest of the game. It's crazy.
So basically, what is the Jaguars like 12-2? I mean,
51 points.
51 points. I mean, you thought they were a top team.
That offense is starting to come together. They really got to point out that defense.
Did I see a stat right that Blake Bortles has 30 touchdowns this year?
I wouldn't be surprised. Allen Robinson's having a great year. Alan Hearns is having a great year. I mean,
30 touchdowns from
and
Blake
once
Bortles.
Julius Thomas gets into the mix with this team, let me tell you, Julius Thomas might be a really, really good sleeper for next year fantasy football. You heard it here first. I mean, we're not at that segment yet right now, but you heard it from here.
Yeah.
I mean, you're looking at a tight ends position that has a couple of guys up and coming with Eifert and Kelsey being there, Gronk being the number 1 clear cut. But I mean, people think Gronk is the only player to grab next year. I think Julius Thomas could be easily a top 3 tight end next year, and Jimmy Graham is going in the opposite direction, folks.
Yeah, now Raiders and Broncos, we were kind of talking about it a little bit.
This is impressive. The one impressive stat I got from this, I heard this from a friend. The Raiders have not given up a touchdown on the offensive side of the football from the Broncos. Broncos only touchdown against the Raiders this year.
High-powered, offenses.
The Raiders.
I mean, without Peyton Manning,
it's funny. The only time the Broncos scored a touchdown on the Raiders was a pick 6. That was the only time that they've scored a touchdown against the Raiders in 2 games this year. Very impressive performance from the Raider defense, I'll be honest, and a good win for the Raiders and the Broncos detrimental. They need to win that game.
It's huge, and
Kansas City right back in the mix.
You're putting Kansas City right in the mix for the division. But we're gonna move on to Islanders and Rangers. Beginning of the season, Rangers. I mean, they looked unstoppable. They really did. They were hottest team in hockey.
I can go on for days about why. I can go on for hours, to be honest. Why? The Rangers have been playing very, very bad. One name that comes to mind immediately is he's not even on the team anymore. Carl Hagelin.
Yeah.
This guy was a force on the forecheck. This guy was a force on the defensive side of the puck. A very, very good player, two-way. And the Rangers shouldn't have gotten rid of this guy. Obviously, they needed to get rid of him to fit it. There was no way they were going to fit him under the cap. But you got guys like Dan Girardi sitting under your cap right now. He's pairing up with Ryan McDonough, and there's no reason why he should be with McDonough right now.
Yeah, and actually the Rangers...
You got to put that guy Klein up there.
The Rangers just sent Jared Stoll to the waiver wire. So that's big, too.
They're in trouble.
They are.
I mean, they got great goaltending. I'm not going to even bash that at all. Henrik Lundqvist has been unbelievable. I know they've been giving up a lot of goals of late, but it has a lot to do with what's going on in front. They've got some great goaltending, especially in the early of the season. They were unbelievable.
Not having Talbot sucks.
Yeah, well, Ronta's been a good backup for them.
He is, but not as...
And Talbot's not even the starter in what's going on. It's crazy how it works. But goaltending is such an unpredictable...
The Islanders, on the other hand...
Their goaltending has been
started out
perfect.
Middle of the pack, really, and now they just kicked it into a whole new gear. Islanders are playing very, very good hockey.
Yeah,
right
winning
now.
a lot of games in overtime and shootouts. I mean, obviously, when it comes down to the playoff picture and you're tied with teams towards the end, those wins aren't going to be too relevant. You got to start to get regulation wins to some degree. But
they're
right now,
8-0-2.
When you find ways to win, you find ways
10.
to win. No, when you find ways to win, you find ways to win.
Yeah.
Right now, that's what they're doing.
They blanked the Devils last night.
Devils who had actually been playing some surprisingly very good hockey. And the former Devils, they're licking a couple goals, too.
I know. The thing with the Islanders is they finally have a decent backup goalie.
They have a good 1-2 with the goalie altogether.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, Grice has been unbelievable. He looks like Jay Cutler, too, a little bit. You ever look at Grice? How much Grice looks like? He looks like Jay Cutler.
Yeah,
it's crazy. It's kind of weird.
Yeah.
But obviously, going back to it, their 1-2 in the goaltender spot has been unbelievable. You look at the stats; they're a top 5 goaltending team right now.
Yeah, well, I mean, Halak's percentage is top is one of the top goalies, if not.
And he's getting a lot of rest, and that's such a big part is when you get a lot of rest for your from your backup. I mean,
because you're not worried about Grice going out there.
Grice has played 7 or 8 games already.
Yeah,
and he's been
and
unbelievable.
He's got what? I think he's got 3 shutouts.
He's been unbelievable.
2 or 3 shutouts. So this, it's finally big that they finally got that 1-2 punch with goaltending, and they're playing well. 4-0 win against the Devils last night.
Absolutely. Very impressive performance by the New York Islanders. But again, you are speaking with Jerry and Kevin. We are taking calls at 605-562-7085. Press 5 to be heard live. Tom and Jerry Sports Show now has its very own app. If you have an Android phone, be sure to download that through the Google Play Store. We're going to get into our recap. I mean, not recap, picks and predictions time, baby.
Yeah.
Here we go.
Finally.
It's time. We're actually going to limit the amount of games we do today with our
not a lot of games mean anything.
A lot of playoff games that we want to deal with right now. Obviously, some games, the Thursday night game you have to mention, even though if you watch this game on Thursday night, I'm going to give you props because this game looks like it could be a snoozer. You got the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and the St. Louis Rams. Jerry, who's your winner?
What game?
Rams and Bucks. Thanks for listening.
I wasn't. I'm gonna go with the Buccaneers just because I like the way that Jameis Winston's been playing this year.
Can you give me a coin? I'll flip it.
I
don't know. I don't care. This game is irrelevant. I'll go with the Buccaneers. I like it. Jets and Cowboys. Who do you like?
Cowboys.
I can't even hold a laugh. I can't hold a laugh in right now. I can't believe you said the Cowboys. That's where I get back to seriousness right now. The New York Jets are going to annihilate the Dallas Cowboys in Dallas. It's going to be very funny. I'm going to Snapchat it all day. I'll send you every single one.
I don't have Snapchat.
Well, then you download it.
I don't want to.
I wouldn't want to either. The Panthers, 13-0, take on the New York Giants. Who do you like?
What game?
Giants and Panthers, bro. Oh. You want to listen to me? Unbelievable.
Giants and Panthers. I'm torn here. I'm torn.
I'm going with the Giants. I think I like what we were talking about. I think the Giants play up to their competition. It's a very important game for the Giants. I think the Panthers take it.
You know what? I really want to see the Panthers go undefeated this year, so I'm going to go with the Panthers.
I don't see it happening. I'll be honest. I go Giants. Boom.
See, like in my heart, I want the Panthers. In my head, I'm feeling that
Giants could pull this one out.
Yeah,
I don't blame you. I absolutely agree.
I'm going to go with the Panthers on. We're gonna go to the next game, Bills and Redskins. I'm gonna go Bills. I don't know. This is a tough game. This is a tough game. Both mean just as much. For both teams, they're both 6-7.
I think the
Redskins are home.
I think the Bills come out and win this game. I think the Bills are able to stop Kirk Cousins for literally the entire game. I'm not even joking.
I have a feeling.
I think the Washington's going to have a hard time stopping Tyrod Taylor. I think Bills win this game outright.
Yeah.
Bears and Vikings. This is such a tough matchup for the Bears.
I'm going to go Vikings.
This sucks because I have Alshon Jeffrey in Fantasy League. The Bears and Vikings, I'm going Vikings as well. Vikings got to get back on track. These are big games for the Vikings now, every single game. We move on. Broncos and Steelers.
Steelers.
I'm going Broncos because I hate the Steelers.
Cardinals, Eagles, Sunday Night Football.
Really? I'm going to go Cardinals outright.
Yeah, I'm going to go with the Cardinals as well. You're speaking to Jerry and Kevin. We are taking call 605-562-7085. Press 5 to be heard live. Everyone's favorite Fantasy 14 up next. We got what you need to know when picking your daily lineups, as well as a start-em, sit-em for your second round of the fantasy playoffs if you made it. Also, big news for you, New York DraftKings and FanDuel players. We'll let you know what you need to know when we get back. Next on the Tom and Jerry Sports Show.
Jingle bells, jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is.
Do you have sports opinions? Or do you want to start your own sports debate? Then Overtime is right for you. Overtime is an app for sports lovers made by sports lovers. This is the best place to talk about sports. Overtime is available at the iTunes App Store. Be a part of something big and help us take the game to OT. Overtime. The game never ends. Follow the NFL this season on the Tom and Jerry Sports Show.
Suddenly there was a new dimension.
The United States is depicted as being in a state of confusion and surprise.
This is the future of radio.
The whole picture will be different.
A worldwide campaign to take over the world.
CyberstationUSA.com.
Tom and Jerry Sports Show featuring Kevin Donlin live every Tuesday on Zeno Radio and re-airs Wednesdays and Fridays at 5 p.m. Eastern on All Noise Radio and the Live 365 app.
Follow us on Instagram at Tom and Jerry Sports Show and join the conversation on Twitter at TNJ Sports, or visit our website at tnjsports.weebly.com or call in to 605-562-7085. Press 5 to be heard live.
Come Santa Claus, come Santa Claus, down Santa Claus Lane.
Tread claws.
All his reindeer,
The Tom and Jerry Sports Show Fantasy 14. We are back, and it's our favorite time of the show. The Fantasy 14 Fantasy Football Playoffs in full effect right now. And if you survived your first round matchup, it's on to round 2. And a chance to get to the championship for Week 16. And obviously, we talk more about, standard leagues of fantasy football because there are big problems in New York with daily leagues. I know a lot of people out there want to play daily fantasy football, but there's a lot of troubles going on. DraftKings, FanDuel having a hard time.
Yeah, the story basically was that the New York Attorney General, Eric Snyder, had a temporary injunction that would stop DraftKings and FanDuel from doing business in New York. Then right after that, basically what that means is that you can't do it. You can't do it in New York. That they were going to seize it. Nobody from New York could play it. And then all of a sudden, an appeal came out, and basically the judge, another judge, ruled that they're going to let it go until the next trial, which is going to be in about January, February. So basically, they're letting the whole the NFL season go. So you're in New York, you're able to play until then.
So you're basically saying by next football season, no one's playing fantasy
football. Basically. But the big thing is that it's gambling. There's no other way around it. There's so it's kind of going hand in hand with
Poker.
Online poker.
Online poker, same thing like we talked about. You know, obviously, you know, a lot of people had come up to me and said, "Oh, there's no way they could do this." Let me tell you something.
They can, and they have.
They were like, "Oh, well, you know, DraftKings was backed by the NFL." I said, "Oh, well, you know, poker was backed by Vegas."
Yeah.
And now, if you want to tell me which one is bigger, the NFL or Vegas, I think you could say all the above. There's no difference there. I think there's no stopping. If the government wants to shut down a certain aspect, then they can, and they certainly will. And it's just unfortunate for people, and it's just unfortunate for people in New York because it's a fun thing to do. You know, doing it with your friends, it's a good time, and basically that's what they're leaving.
I got really into it.
A lot of people did.
Yeah,
You're not alone. There's thousands upon thousands of people doing it. But again, you are remember to join the conversation on Twitter at TNJ Sports or at our website at tnjsports.weebly.com. Be sure to download the new app, sports app, Overtime at the iTunes App Store.
Absolutely. We're going to give you daily lineups, obviously, being that you can still play daily fantasy until the end of the season.
Or if you need this guy in your league and you're trying to get to your championship match, of course. Yeah. But my number one play this week will be Matthew Stafford at the quarterback position.
What are you, nuts?
Matthew Stafford is the number one play. He's taking on that awful New Orleans defense. You need to put him in. You'll get him at a discount. He is going to be the number one quarterback this week.
Yeah.
Who did I say was going to be the number one quarterback last week? Didn't I say someone was going to be hands down the number one quarterback? And I think I was wrong.
Yeah, I don't remember.
I was very wrong too.
You know what? I like for my quarterback.
Oh, I said Alex Smith, and he did awful.
Yeah, he did.
He had one touchdown.
He actually threw his first interception in like 8 games.
He had one touchdown only. It was a good touchdown. It was a long one, but that was it.
For my quarterback, I'm probably gonna go with
Derek Carr could be a good play too.
I might even go with Carson Palmer, maybe Cam Newton, and then going on to running back.
Hands down, number one, you have to start Devontae Freeman. I don't care if you're in daily leagues. I don't care if you're trying to get to a championship. If you're facing Devontae Freeman, say a prayer before Sunday morning. I'm not joking. Say a prayer before Sunday morning. Devontae Freeman against Jacksonville is a very, very good matchup. I think he's hands down should be the number one play in fantasy football this week.
Yeah, Adrian Peterson's a good play.
Not far off, exactly.
With playing Chicago, D'Angelo Williams going up against Denver. I don't think you
Todd
play
Gurley
him.
too. He's a very good place. He's the top part of this list.
Yeah,
guys like Thomas Rawls are out, Lynch are out. If you want to try and find backups, but good luck with those situations. I know Fred Jackson could be in the mix.
Another guy that that has been playing well, David Johnson from Arizona.
Absolutely, and he's going at a cheaper price. He could be a good start this week. $5,700 going on against that Philadelphia defense. He's another good play.
Moving on to wide receiver. I mean, you could go with DeAndre Hopkins going up against Indy. AJ Green.
You're not going to stop DeAndre Hopkins twice in a row. I think DeAndre Hopkins is a lock to be an absolute beast this week. Allen Robinson, again, another great play. You put him in, no problem.
Think Fitz.
And even Calvin Johnson. Calvin Johnson's going for a deep discount right now. He is kind of hurt, so it could be a little bit of a mix-up. Alshon Jeffrey, I think he's the number one guy you need to stay away from this week. Minnesota,
Sammy Watkins.
Very good. Yeah, absolutely.
Sammy Watkins is playing well
Randall
lately.
Cobb going for a cheaper price as well. You could probably get him in there, no problem. Des Bryant, I mean, against, Darrelle Revis, throw him in. Might as well flip. I'm just playing, guys.
You got jokes. You got jokes today. Wow. Tight end.
Bro, this is a big time game. I mean, I love this. I love this matchup. I can't wait. And the fact that Tony Romo ain't playing, I was like, no, bro. No.
Yeah. Tight end. I'm looking at maybe Ben Watson. Maybe.
What about Gronk?
I mean,
you go Gronk.
Might as well.
You put Gronk in if you have him.
Yeah.
And if you can afford him, you put him in without a doubt. With the loss of Tyler Eifert, and when I talked about this, obviously Andy Dalton's going to be in there now, but Marvin Jones could be a little bit of a deep sleeper if you really want to go deep with it.
Yeah.
But San Fran's secondary has been awful. I don't care even who the quarterback of Cincinnati is. They're going to find ways. So
it's A.J. McCarron.
And Barner's taking on Seattle. He might be a guy that you might have to sit this week, which is kind of incredible.
Flex, I mean, I would look at, anybody that we kind of brought up in wide receivers and stuff like that. Maybe a guy like
Lamar Miller could be a good play. San Diego, Miami.
Yeah.
That could be a very good play as a cheaper option right there. Amari
maybe
Cooper, I
Jarvis
think
Landry.
Amari Cooper comes back and performs after having a very, very disappointing week. Amari Cooper taking on the Green Bay Packers. This is an Oakland team that's going to have to throw all game.
Yeah.
They're not going to stop.
You know what? I'm going with my flex.
Who?
Doug Baldwin.
Might as well. I mean, at this point, folks, he is just doing unbelievable work. I mean, playing Cleveland.
He's going for $5,800 on DraftKings.
Yeah, you can't beat that. That is so cheap. I mean, you have to think this guy's going to be 60-70% owned in leagues. I mean, at this rate, he's just been unbelievable. He just nonstop performing. Excellent performance. But defense, who are you going with? Number one defense. You need to start the best defense you can. Who is it?
Seattle.
Okay. Taking on Cleveland Browns. Johnny Manziel. You don't think Johnny Manziel will get a hit a long tutty or nothing in Seattle? No shot. I think Seattle defense is hands down the number one defense this week. If you own them in fantasy football, you are a lucky person. Yeah. Because they are going to do work.
So how'd you do in the playoffs?
Struggled. I struggled. I took on Doug Baldwin.
Win,
no, I got it. Lamar Miller. I need the New York Giants defense to be what the Giants defense hasn't been all year, and that's good. I'm going to need the Giants defense to be very, 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 very superb against him. Stop him at all costs. He needs to be under 71 yards, and he definitely needs to not score.
Let's see what you said. What's the percentage of that happening?
I'm in the negative percentage.
I lost both my playoffs.
I had a buy in one. That was good. Oh, and I had another league that had Andy Dalton and Thomas Rawls. So waved bye to that. By what was it? By 130, I was waving bye to that league. They both got hurt within 5 minutes of each other.
Yeah. I'm gonna look at. I got a question here.
Question of the day. Let's go. Debate of the day. Going to go on overtime. Check it out and give us your answers.
With the NFC East being so tight record-wise, do you think the Cowboys still have a chance to win the East?
I think what the East has going for them right now is that all these teams are going to be getting good draft picks. Like they all have 7 losses right now. These are good draft picks. To make the playoffs and be 7-9, you're looking at a top 15 pick in the draft, and you make the playoffs.
Yeah.
It's pretty effective. You know what I mean? But
I know. That's what I'm saying.
The Cowboys winning this division, I think it's all but out the window. I think with the wins by the Redskins and Eagles, and then obviously if the Giants get a win tonight, they're just going to be too far away. It's just going to be impossible.
And then...
and you got to take on that mighty Jets team next week. It's just... what you laughing at?
And then do you believe... whatever team from the East makes the playoffs, will they actually be able to compete?
The only team in that division, you're going to get mad at me for saying it, the only team in that division that can perform and make a move after making the playoffs, the only team will be the Philadelphia Eagles. The only team. They're the only team that can make some sort of a splash. I don't think any other team in that division can make a splash. I don't think the Redskins have an offense that's power enough to do it. I think the Giants' defense is just too depleted.
To be honest with you, I don't
Eagles
think
are the most complete team right now.
To be honest with you, and I don't think any team can compete in the playoffs. But you know what? If, and this is a big if, so this is coming with a win against the Jets. Obviously, a win out with the Cowboys. The Cowboys with Romo, if they were to make the playoffs, and I'm not saying they would. I'm not saying it's going to happen because it's not going to happen.
Guys, it's not. It's not going to happen.
I would have to say Cowboys could compete.
They could compete with Tony Romo back.
Yeah.
But, I mean, what is he going to play? The first 3 minutes of the first quarter, the first playoff game, get hurt, and then bye-bye Cowboys, Matt Castle again? I mean, I'll tell you right now.
You got jokes all day today. And you know what? We'll see what happens. You better hope that the Jets win this game. You better hope.
Oh, they are definitely going to win.
You better hope.
We didn't do a lock of the day. Lock of the day?
Hold on.
The New York. Get it up, please. Get it up. I want to put it up. Here we go.
The Tom and Jerry Sports Show presents
the Jet of the Week.
For week 15.
You know what? My lock for next week, Cowboys. Cowboys.
And my lock of the Jets. So boom, we got an ultimatum right now. Someone's gonna get blasted.
It's time for Jerry and Kevin's upset
of the week. Upset of the week.
15.
You know, it's my lock and my upset. Cowboys.
Well, I'm going to go with the Giants with the upset of the week. I think I'm going to be all New York. I'm going to be friendly to New York in all directions. I think the Giants knock off the 13-0 Panthers and the New York Jets go into town and take care of business over the Dallas Cowboys with ease.
If the Giants beat...
I'm going to laugh when Ryan Fitzpatrick goes 5 wide set to start the game, and then Dallas is going to sit there with Matt Castle looking on the sideline looking like an idiot. It's going to be so funny. I mean, Matt Castle is going to get annihilated.
Yeah.
And Des Bryant, no. Oh, no.
Well, that will do it for the show, but we're going to give you a Tom and Jerry Sports Show 60-second summary. Sunday Night Football, the Patriots took on the Texans in Houston. J.J. Watt broke his hand earlier in the week, but didn't stop him from playing. But his presence wasn't enough to hold the Pats out of the win column as New England wins 27-6. Thursday Night Football, Vikings were in line to tie the Cardinals late in the game, but after a head-scratching call, Bridgewater was strip-sacked by Dwight Freeney as Cardinals hang on to win 23-20. Jets had the Titans come into town. Most thought this could be one of those same old Jets kind of games, but that it wasn't, as Fitzpatrick and his Magic took care of business 30-6 to move the Jets to 8-5. Yankees acquire Starlin Castro for Adam Warren and Brendan Ryan. Mets acquire Neil Walker in a deal involving John Neese after missing out on Zobrist. Also signed Asdrubal Cabrera to a 2-year deal. Islanders continue their hot streak with a 4-0 win over the Devils as they are 8-0-2 in their last 10 games. Rangers, on the other hand, have been definitely struggling with a record of 2-6-2 in their last 10 games. Knicks are in the same boat as the Rangers as they hit a bit of a speed bump with 7 losses out of their last 10 games. Giants face off in Miami against the Dolphins tonight on Monday Night Football on ESPN at 8 p.m. Eastern. Also, big news that came out today, Commissioner Manfred from the Major League Baseball just put out that Pete Rose will not be going into the Hall of Fame anytime soon.
Sad story.
The ban is still out there.
Sad.
But yeah, it's definitely a sad story. And I'm Jerry Napoleonello with your Tom and Jerry Sports Show 60-second summary brought to you by Overtime. The game never ends. And with that, we are done. That will do it for the show. We'll be back next week with another show before Christmas.
Let's go, Jets.
Hope all you people that are Jewish had a nice Hanukkah.
Absolutely.
But that will do it. I'm Jerry.
I'm Kevin.
Be breezy. Thanks for listening to another episode of The Tom and Jerry Show.